710 ESPN.
Lakers Talk is on.
Best roster in the NBA.
It's Lakers Talk with Allen Sliwa.
LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two superstars in the NBA.
It's good! Anthony Davis with the dagger!
From the home of the world champs at LA Live.
The Lakers are the world champions.
This is Lakers Talk.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
What is going on, Laker fans? What is going on, Laker fans? Here we are. Monday, December 7th. You know what's going on this Friday? I don't know if you guys are busy on Friday or not. Lakers, Clippers. Preseason starts, Laker fans. Start kind of cleaning off your schedule. If the family says, hey, we got this to do on Friday and that, you got to tell them, listen, guys, we don't have time. Laker season is starting. Show some respect. I need the next 8 months off. That's pretty much all you got to tell your family. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. Just finished Lakers Talk over on 710 ESPN on the radio side. Now we do the show on the social front. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Got a good show going on. By the way, can I just throw in a couple quick plugs here? Wes Matthews joined the show on 710 earlier today, so it was great to do a good probably 12, 13 minutes with Wes Matthews. So if you missed any part of the live show, catch it. Lakers Talk with Allen Sliwa on the ESPN app or on iTunes. Wes Matthews was great. Fantastic. 12-year vet in the NBA. Hungry to win an NBA championship. Will do whatever it takes. Never won a ring before. So you can tell just all how motivated he was. But Wes Matthews was solid. So go back and listen if you want to take a listen to that. Okay, this is how we're going to start the show. By the way, last couple of days, all these Zoom calls that the Lakers are doing. So we're getting chances to hear from Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, head coach Frank Vogel. Last week we heard from Anthony Davis. Today we got a chance to hear from LeBron James. So it's fantastic. I mean, you're getting a chance now to really kind of get the feel of the season's about to start. I want to start off the show talking about some of the challenges that the Lakers are going to have this year. Okay. By the way, it's not just the Lakers, just the NBA in general. But let me just focus in on the Lakers because this is a Lakers show. I don't know if you guys knew that. This is a Lakers show. Okay, so this is going to be some of the challenges the Lakers are going to have. So Lakers won championship number 17 against the Miami Heat back on October 11th. So I don't have to tell Laker fans this is such a quick turnaround, right? We all know it's such a quick turnaround. The question I think is going to become the biggest challenge for the Lakers is you got players that had such a short amount of rest. And, of course, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, those are the most important pieces because of the amount of minutes that they put on to help win championship number 17. Head coach Frank Vogel said today about kind of being cautious about the regular season. He said the goal this year is to make sure we're healthy and whole going into the playoffs. Basically, at the end of the day, and you heard LeBron James talk about this as well, I have no idea how the Lakers are going to play the regular season. But what I will tell you is it's probably never been more important to make sure that your stars are ready for the postseason and that the regular season is not as much of a burden as it might be during seasons in the past, right? Yes, there's 10 less games, but you're crunching in 72 games in a small window here. So I say that because the challenges are obvious. And don't get me wrong when I say this. When I say challenges for the Lakers, every team in the NBA wishes they had the Lakers roster. So let's not, for 1 second, think that the roster with Montrezl Harrell edition and Dennis Schroeder edition, and of course, Alex Caruso and Kyle Kuzma and KCP under his 3-year, $40 million contract, and Marc Gasol and Markieff Morris and Wesley Matthews, and I haven't mentioned AD and LeBron yet. There's an incredible amount of talent on this Lakers roster. But I do think there's going to be some challenges, and I think it all comes down to how the Lakers use LeBron James. So I don't know how you guys feel on the LeBron James front. I have no idea if this is one of those seasons that are coming up where you want to be extremely, extremely cautious about how the Lakers use LeBron. But then it's also how much LeBron, kind of just says, no, I'm going to play. I need to play. Like, this is the part that I'm curious about, because LeBron James has never really showed he's going to take a back seat. LeBron James has never showed, in his career that he's going to play less games or less minutes, or at least, you don't see it. It's not obvious. But if there's ever a time for LeBron James to potentially take a seat back, at least in the regular season, at least be more strategic, I think this is obviously the season. Did you guys know LeBron's going into his 18th year in the NBA, that on December 30th of this year, he'll turn 36 years old, that he's played the equivalent of 3 additional seasons because of the amount of playoff games that he's played. So when I say he's going into his 18th year, technically, if you take 82 games a year, he'd be going into his 21st year if you include those playoff games and those long runs. So it's not like LeBron James is, yes, he's a beast. What he's accomplished in his career is absolutely ridiculous. But with all that being said, I think this is the season where you really got to be careful with LeBron James, which brings me to my next point. My next point is, this is so critical this year, out of all years, that Anthony Davis, the way LeBron James helped Anthony Davis get his first NBA championship, I think this is the year where Anthony Davis starts taking more of that burden on his shoulder. AD's 27 years old. Anthony Davis is walking into the prime of his career. And I got a chance actually last week to ask AD about this. I asked him about, what his personal goals were for this upcoming season. And he's not looking at individual accolades. He says those will take care of themselves, so he doesn't pay too much attention to that. But I got to be honest with you guys. I really, really believe, I can't tell you how much I want to be sitting here 5 months from now and saying Anthony Davis has a legitimate chance to win the Most Valuable Player of the Year award and the Defensive Player of the Year award. And I don't say that only because AD's a Laker. I say it because I feel that this is the time where LeBron will start passing that baton to Anthony Davis. And AD starts saying, okay, I know what you are, and I know what you're going to be, and I know how key and important you are, obviously during the regular season, but more importantly through the postseason. But you could depend on me more and more. I'm going to take more of that load. I'm going to help. I'm going to have more and more responsibilities. That's just a natural thing, in the NBA when you have 2 star players, but they're separated by, 8 or 9 years age-wise. And LeBron, whether we want to admit it or not, at some point, LeBron's got to slow down. Like, he's got to slow down. That's just, it's nature. Nature will take its course. And I think for Anthony Davis, I don't actually expect him to slow down. I think this is going to be the season where I think AD can take his game to another level. So do you guys agree or disagree with me? You can get on this chat and I'll respond if this is a question I'll put out there. Does AD have to play a bigger role for the Lakers this season? Do you think he'll have to play a bigger role than LeBron James this season simply because all those reasons that I mentioned right there? So you can hit me up. By the way, thank you for being a part of the show. You can, by the way, follow us on ESPN Los Angeles. Follow us on all those platforms. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at Allen Sliwa, YouTube Lakers Talk with Allen Sliwa. All right, let me read a couple of these comments here. Let's see what we got here. Calvin on YouTube. This is AD's team now. All right. Brandon Wallace on YouTube. I like to see Bron and AD's minutes at 29 minutes each. Big John Boatride on YouTube. It's load management time. Look, AD is a walking bucket. Otang on YouTube. Jacob, agree, but he needs to become a very good playmaker. Okay, so let me say this real quick. One of the things that LeBron at this stage of his career, what makes him so great is he can go out in a game and impact the game and dish out 10, 12, 15 assists in a game. So he could be a playmaker for others. What Anthony Davis can't do from that part, that perspective, AD is not going to go bring the ball up the floor and dish out 10, 12, 15 assists. But what AD can be is the best defensive player in the world on the other side of the floor. So he could drop 30 any night with 12 rebounds, but then he could also on the other end make your life a living hell, guard the best big men, make it difficult for other guys to get to the basket, block shots, and do all that stuff. So I think, for me, I don't look at Anthony Davis as, okay, well, he's got to now increase on the offensive end. What I'm really saying is just AD takes more of a leadership role, and I think AD continues to become, the best player in the world. Like I said, I want to have – it'd be so great to have conversations about Anthony Davis, and all we're sitting here saying is, well, he's got to be MVP this year. How's he not going to be MVP? Look what he's done for the Lakers. Look at LeBron took some time off. AD stepped up, and look how the team is responding around him. And I think one of the keys, too, for Anthony Davis, I shouldn't point my finger at you guys, but I'm in a good point right now. And usually when I'm making a good point, I point my finger. Usually Anthony Davis, the fact that there's so much more talent on this team right now that is around his age, that's the Dennis Schroeder, the Montrezl Harrell. I think a lot of that will come into play as well, that AD doesn't feel like he has to have to be doing it alone. All right, let me read a couple more off here. Adrian Steve Vasquez on Periscope. AD having a huge year, and it is much needed. Somebody said something about Paul George out of nowhere. At what point did I say anything about Paul George to see a Paul George comment in here? I mean, I can't control things here. By the way, a couple things. Somebody asked me if I've done roll call yet. I have not done roll call yet. Okay? And then other people are telling me where they're tuning in from. I haven't done roll call yet. Okay? There's rules to the game here. Just follow the rules. I'm not asking for much here. Okay? All right, let's see what else we got. Kirk Johnson on Facebook. AD will take a bigger role this season. LeBron will still be LeBron. By the way, that's the point Mike Trudell was making. Trudell was on the show as well, and Trudell was spending some time talking about that. He just said, even if AD steps up his game and does more and everything else, LeBron is still LeBron. And LeBron is still going to find ways to impact the game. It's not like LeBron is going to say, hey, you know what? I'll play 20 minutes this game, then I'll sit 2 games out. That's not in his DNA to begin with. So I don't think anybody's expecting that. All right, let me read off one more, and then I'm going to start getting off to the next topic. By the way, just so you guys know, if your comment is really good, I typically read it. If it's not good, I just pretend like I never saw it. See what I'm saying? That's my strategy when I'm looking at the comments. Football Access on YouTube says, Lakers fan really think they are that good. Kind of the best team in the roster. Or kind of the best roster in the NBA. I don't know what you want me to tell you here, Football Access. And I'm being objective. Tell me another roster that's better than the Lakers roster here. Okay? You have walked into a Lakers show. And by the way, I get it. It's very common sometimes when you're rooting for your own team that you're not objective. I'm being objective. Lakers got the best roster in the NBA. And I don't even think I can't even see how you think it's close. All right? Okay. One more, and then I want to get into this LeBron on Kuzma. Let me read one more here real quick. I still got people chiming in here, trying to tell me where they're tuning in from. All right, one more. Okay, the people have spoken. Roll call. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'll give you a shout out. I'll give your city a shout out. So wherever you're tuning in from, if you're out here somewhere in Los Angeles, let me know the city that you're in, somewhere in California, somewhere across the country, or somewhere around the world. Because God knows Laker fans are everywhere. We appreciate you guys spending some time. And obviously tuning in right here. So thank you for being part of the show. A couple fist pumps, Laker fans want. I got you guys, Laker fans. December 11th, Friday. Friday, I'm going to be doing a pregame show with Michael Thompson. What? We just finished. I'm going to be doing a postgame show coming up on Friday. Then a postgame show after the postgame show. I mean, it's this all went by really fast. All right, Norwalk, thank you for being a part of the show. Downey, Phoenix, thank you for being a part of the show. Chicago, is everybody tuning in from? Philippines, somebody's at King Taco. I should have took a picture. I went by the King Taco in Pasadena. I was like, should I take a picture? And I didn't take a picture, but I was driving. Should have took a picture. Mississippi, thank you for being a part of the show. Irvine, somebody's at Magic City. Magic City is getting a lot of run lately. I feel like people are now using the Magic City. I don't know who started it, but thank you for tuning in. Chicago, California, Henderson, Stockton, Melbourne, Australia, thank you for being a part of the show. Somebody's at Echo Park right now. They said they're balling. Save me a spot. Save me a spot on the roster, okay? I need to stretch for 45 minutes. I got one good game in me, 3 turnovers, 1 for 6 shooting, and then I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to call it a day right there. El Monte, Las Vegas, thank you all for being a part of the show. Redondo, Duarte. These comments are good. Let's just say that. The comments are good. Camarillo, thank you for being a part of the show. All right, I want to get into the next topic. If I didn't read what city you're tuned in from, just hang out. I'll make sure that I get you. North Hollywood, San Diego, Porter Ranch, LA. Thank you all for being a part of the show. So Tampa, Philippines, Indonesia. Thank you all for being a part of the show. The Valley as well. Okay, let me put this tweet up real quick. Let's put up this tweet. Okay. Hoop Central, NBA Twitter website or Twitter account. They're always putting out, different information and trying to get different topics, and NBA fans are commenting. A lot of these handles are doing that. So Hoop Central puts out something. Name an NBA player you think will take a giant leap this season. Okay? Here comes LeBron James out of nowhere. Throws in Kyle Kuzma. So I got some thoughts on this. All right. By the way, I need you guys to be real with me. I need you to be real. Do you agree with LeBron James that Kyle Kuzma is going to take a big leap this season? Or are you not feeling it? And you could obviously comment either way, but don't just say yes or no. Give me some reasons why. So when I do read off the comment, I got some meat to work with. Okay. So let me say this. Kyle Kuzma continues to be, I think a hot and cold conversation with Laker fans. And for the most part, he is definitely a polarizing Laker. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He definitely is a polarizing Laker. We have created expectations for Kyle Kuzma that I think were unrealistic. And it started probably 2 years ago, but then, really last season, because you traded all those young players and Kuzma's the only one that stayed. And from that, draft class or a couple of those draft picks that the Lakers had, and Kuzma's the only one that stayed. And then people started labeling him as, oh, Lakers got a big 3. It's like, oh, what 3 are you talking about? You got LeBron, you got Anthony Davis, and there is a significant drop-off between the next best player. And really, as the season progressed, Kuzma was not the 3rd best player on the team. He wasn't the most valuable player on this Lakers team. But we put him on this pedestal as if he was. And, I have fallen to the trap as well. There are times where, you thought, okay, well, let's see what Kuzma can do. But I've also been one that's been very critical on Kuzma and I thought last year by the trade deadline, I thought Kuzma would definitely get shopped. Even this year, I thought going into free agency that I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if Kuz was traded. And here the Lakers are trying to win right now, and you got to just get as much talent as you want. And the Lakers organization have shown faith in Kuzma's development, right? The Lakers organization has said that, no, we are going to hold on to Kyle Kuzma. and hopefully he develops into the player he's on his rookie contract. So they're obviously getting great value for him. The real question is going to be if when it's time to pay Kuz, will the Lakers actually pay him? So the fact that LeBron James puts out this, response to this tweet and says that he thinks the great leap is going to be Kyle Kuzma. First of all, I respect it. I mean, I love LeBron James coming to the defense of Kyle Kuzma, one of the greatest to ever play the game, saying, yeah, you know what? I got confidence in Kuz. And I don't know how much of an effect that's going to have on Kuz. I don't know if Kuzma's sitting there right now since that tweet was sent out and saying, man, this is going to take me to a whole new level. Mentally, I'm at a different place. I have no idea, right? But I will say I was surprised because this Lakers team went from Kuz being in the conversation of being, let's say, top 5 player on the roster, top 4 player on the roster last year to be honest with you, I don't know where he falls into line this upcoming year. And that doesn't mean that he does not have value. Kuz is just going to play a role for the Lakers, right? But where Kuz might get his opportunities this year is because as I run my mouth about how much I think LeBron James is going to need to kind of pace himself, guys like Kyle Kuzma could potentially step into his place. But this is what Kuz has on the team now as far as talent goes. LeBron and AD are the 2 best players in the world. Rank them any way you want. Maybe throw in Giannis, Kawhi, however you want to do it, right? So 2 of the top players in the world. Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder are phenomenal basketball players that are going to play a role for the Lakers that's really, really needed. Alex Caruso continues to be an up-and-coming player. KCP just signed for 3 years and $40 million. He's obviously a fantastic fit for the Lakers. So I don't know if Kuzma is going to have a great leap this season. And it's not going to be his fault. It's just going to be the mere fact that you have so many players on this team that are good and are going to be effective. We'll just have to wait and see what happens from Kuzma's role. All right, let me read off some of these. Carson Gaines start things off by saying Kyle is a liability. So we're 0 for 1 on that one. Taku on YouTube, partially agree. He has a chip on his shoulder. Let me read off a couple more here. This is a good one. Bishop Alexander, yes, because of maturity and work ethic. I will tell you this. Whether you're a big fan of Kuzma and his game or not, I don't think you could deny the fact that Kuzma made sacrifices this past season. He did. I thought in that playoff run, it was great to see Kuz working his butt off on defense, not taking a ton of ill-advised shots. All the post-game shows that I did, I wasn't out running my mouth saying Kuz shot 3 of 12. He had 2 offensive fouls, 2 charges, and 4 turnovers. I mean, I'm not saying he played perfect basketball. He didn't. But Kuz genuinely tried to be a good role player and a good teammate. That I respected from Kyle Kuzma from this past season. There's a good one. He's teachable. That's what another comment here by Bishop Alexander. Okay, let me read off a couple more. All right, read off a couple more here. Maxim Clays on YouTube. No, he does not think that he'll take a big leap. Says, but if he can be consistent and provide good results when he's out there and can be a potential for him to get more time, consistency is the key here. Okay, that's a good point. Kirk Johnson on Facebook. I kind of agree because he's going to be playing a lot of wing this year. I believe that's what LeBron sees. He was kind of doing that in the bubble. Okay. Keep going here. Mario Rovera out of nowhere says Chris Mim. I have no idea why Mario is talking about Chris Mim on the show, but thank you for contributing that. Couple more here. Juggernaut Goki on YouTube says this is the last chance for Kuz. I disagree with that. I mean, listen, no matter what Kuz does, he may or may not be a Laker just based upon, what his market value is. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen to Kuz. If he plays out the rest of the season with the Lakers, and then his rookie, contract comes up or teams can make offers for Kuz, there's going to be a team in a market that has trouble attracting free agents and will overpay for a young player who's got potential. So Kuz will be just fine. And Kuz has said that. Kuz is, Jared Dudley's had conversations with Kuz about, look, you just play your game, be the right person, be the right player, be the right teammate. You're going to get paid. The question is just going to be, would he get paid by the Lakers or would he get paid by another team? All right, let's keep going here. All right, Key on Periscope. No excuses for Kuz anymore. All he has to do is catch and finish. Cut, spot up, and be efficient. Can't argue that one. I actually like that comment right there. Right to the point. Look, Key on Periscope came in with a game plan. This guy wasn't he wasn't messing around. Some guys they need a couple comments to warm up. He didn't need to warm up. He just took his shot and he went to work. All right. One more here on the Kuz front, and then we'll keep moving along here. By the way, if you're on YouTube right now, can you subscribe to the channel, please? Subscribe to the channel. Give us a quick like if you like it. If you're on Twitter, Periscope, follow us here. Can you imagine what we're going to do this upcoming Lakers season? We're going to be all over this Lakers content, Laker fans. I said Lakers 38 times. That brief second there. Okay, last one I'm going to read. Lonnie Arkofa on YouTube. No, there's a lot of scores on this team. He will have his opportunities on defense and spot-up shooting. So that's where we go from there. Last one I'm going to read is Blind Eye's hater on YouTube that just says, read my comments. I read it. I hope that worked out well. I read it. Okay, let's keep things moving along here. Laker fans. Did I tell you guys Friday preseason starts? Lakers and the Clippers. Best matchup in the NBA. Did I tell you guys that yet? Okay. So today after Lakers practice, Dennis Schroeder addressed the media. So we did the Zoom calls. By the way, LeBron addressed the media as well. It's funny. I got a quick story. What did we call it last time? Sliwa story time? What did we call it? I don't remember what we called it. Story time with Sliwa. It was story time with Sliwa. All right, quick story here, and then we'll get into Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder. Okay, so let me kind of take you guys behind the curtain. So we have a link. We know the time the Lakers are going to do their media, right? Their media practice, their Zoom calls. And, the last week and a half, even after free agency, we got a chance to hear from these players. But you don't, I guess, no. Sometimes you know exactly who's going to be talking. But a couple of these last ones, you're not 100% sure who's going to go. So for training camp, they usually grab 2 players and coach. But you don't know who the players are going to be. So today I'm sitting there. I'm in the studio because I was like, all right, I'm going to take the calls from here. And I'm in the studio. And I'm just kind of, messing around. We're waiting. And then the camera just turned on. It was like, it's LeBron. I swear, everyone in the chat room, like everything changed. It's like LeBron James. All of a sudden my back got straighter. The whole game plan changed. LeBron James. You know what I mean? So it was nice to hear from LeBron. Nice to get his comments and everything else. But Dennis Schroeder spoke as well. So Schroeder said something. I'm going to play you guys what Schroeder said. All right, somebody said that they subscribed and liked Taku on YouTube. You should unsubscribe and now dislike. I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, Dennis Schroeder. So let me read off something Dennis Schroeder said. So Schroeder comes to the Lakers. He does his, press conference when he comes, or his, his Zoom call as well. And everybody, I think got a little bit thrown off by Schroeder when he was like, yeah, I know it was asked, hey, what do you think your role is going to be? Similar to Oklahoma City. And he's like, I did that for 2 years. I don't know if I'm going to come off the bench. And already head coach Frank Vogel is like, I ain't talking about no starting lineups, okay? Still trying to figure things out. We got all these COVID-19 protocols. I don't know who's starting yet, right? So Schroeder talked again today, and I thought Schroeder had a really, really good presser, okay? So the question came up. First of all, one of the questions I asked him was, explain your strengths and your role that you think, the things that you do well is going to fit with this team and with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And he pretty much just said, like, look, I'll sacrifice. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'll die for loose balls. Montrezl Harrell had kind of a similar conversation yesterday, referenced similar things. And Schroeder just kind of went on. In my opinion, gave honest, genuine answers that were very team-oriented, okay? And then somebody had asked him about how he thinks he'll play with Montrezl Harrell on, pick and roll. And the comparison they were trying to make is what Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell were able to do for the last couple of years. That was a fantastic combination, and those two guys came off the bench for the Clippers. So Schroeder said, when we're on the floor together, it's going to be a 1-2 punch, really dangerous. We are practicing together. It's going to be a good pick and roll option. So let me say this about those two players, Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell. On paper right now, Lakers have a fantastic, fantastic roster. I've already said it. I've emphasized it. It's the best team in the NBA. It's the best roster in the NBA. But on paper, doesn't mean anything, right? On paper is one thing. What eventually you take out on the court, it's going to come down to how are the players jiving together? Are guys sacrificing for each other? How healthy are you? How's the chemistry? Does everybody know their role and accept their role? All that stuff's going to have to come into play. So I've used Dennis Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell as a great example. They got a great opportunity in front of them because not only are they going to play a specific role for the Lakers really, really need what those strengths are. But at the same time, in order for this Lakers team to win an NBA championship, just all you got to do is just look at this last season. Dwight Howard, sacrificed. Rondo, sacrificed. Kuzma, Alex Caruso, Avery Bradley, KCP, all these role players sacrificed. So that's going to be something that we all will watch as the season progresses. Are Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder, how they're fitting in, how's their chemistry, are they sacrificing for the team? And personally, between you and me, I don't have any concern with that at all because I do think they are going to, obviously play the roles in the positions that they're supposed to. And on top of that, I think they're going to get crazy amount of opportunities because of all the reasons why I mentioned to start off the show. The regular season is just it's not going to be as important as it's been in the past. Neither is home court advantage, neither is any of that stuff. So they're going to get their opportunities. And even if the Lakers don't have all their big guns on a consistent basis, they got so much talent they could still win a ton of games. So I want to throw that in on Montrezl Harrell and Dennis Schroeder because I did think that part was important. Okay. Can I give some love to Power Pro Plumbing, Heating and Air, a fantastic, fantastic partner with us on 710 ESPN. And for some reason, really, really loyal. I'm appreciative of them because they're obviously a partner on here. They sponsor Lakers Talk as well. They've been doing work on the station for 5, 6, 7 years now. The owner is a huge Laker fan, and they're a locally run business right here in Los Angeles. So thank you to them, and thank you for their partnership. Without them, we can't do shows like this. So very appreciative of Power Pro Plumbing Heating in there. Okay. I got one more subject that I want to get into, one more topic, and then we're going to get your guys' questions. So if you guys got some questions, you could start putting your questions out now on this chat room, and I'll start reading, some of the questions. If I don't read your question, it just wasn't good enough. What are you going to do? You can't win them all. You got to take some L's sometimes. Got to take some L's. Okay. Lakers versus Clippers. This Friday, a Clipper team that was favored to win a championship and folded, lost when they were up 3-1, had double-digit leads in every one of those clinching games against Denver and folded and lost and choked. It's the reality. That's what happened. Lakers then eventually go on to win an NBA championship against the Miami Heat. Off-season comes. Off-season went for about 45 minutes. Now the season's back up again. Clippers go grab Serge Ibaka. They get Luke Kennard. They grab Nicholas Batum. I think they got some vets there. I don't mind those pieces. Doc Rivers is gone. Ty Lue becomes the head coach. So they've definitely done some retooling. I thought they overpaid for Marcus Morris, but they did what they had to do. And this is what they're rolling in the season with, right? A lot of the same pieces from last year and a couple tweaks. Lakers come in the offseason. They go get Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers, bring him to the Los Angeles Lakers on a 2-year deal. God knows the chip on his shoulder. And now the Clippers are going to try and take what the Lakers have. I think it's the two best teams in the NBA. That's my personal opinion. I know you can make an argument for the Bucks, but I'm going to go ahead and just roll the dice and say I think Lakers and Clippers are the two best teams in the NBA. I think it's the best matchup, and I think it's going to be a fantastic conversation all season long. I know I could talk about the Lakers schedule, which came out on Friday, right? And I could tell you that, all right, well, they got a game against the Brooklyn Nets. That's going to be exciting. And how about when they face Portland, or when they got Denver or Dallas or Golden State or Philadelphia or Boston, or I can get into all those games. These are the two best teams in the NBA, in my opinion. There we go. A lot of pointing here. Two best teams. One team completely folded. The Lakers obviously won. Clippers will come this year and try and do something that they've never done, get to the Western Conference Finals, and then see where they can go from there. It all starts on Friday. So that's how close we are to Lakers basketball starting. This is actually my last show until Friday, and then Friday we'll get things started. Okay. So that's those are my last thoughts on the schedule and getting things started. Okay, let's look at let's see here. Let me see here. Let's get some questions in, all right? You got questions? Start putting them in right now. Read off the questions. What are your thoughts on the city jerseys? Okay. I don't know. They didn't really click with me, I think, as much as maybe they clicked with others. I thought they were okay. I thought the jerseys were all right. Just being honest here. When's the next hot dog eating contest? Better yet, how about a taco eating contest from King Taco? Probably never. Probably never. I think I still feel it from that hot dog eating contest. All right, let's keep going here. Do you think there will be multiple Lakers players becoming all-stars in the upcoming NBA season? No, I think LeBron and Anthony Davis. Unless maybe a guy like Schroeder is – if Schroeder's got the numbers that he did with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and, obviously there's so much attention paid to the Lakers, but he's playing big-time minutes and he's averaging 19 points a game. Maybe there's some consideration, but it's going to be so tough for players like that to average that many points when you come to the Lakers because, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're always going to eat first. So we'll see on that. Do you think Kuz can win six-man? That's Team Gone Fly on YouTube. Honest opinion, not on this team. It's just too much talent because he's not going to be the sixth man. It's going to be like the eighth man. You know what I mean? So, no, I don't think so. But, in Kuz's career, can that happen? Definitely it can. It definitely can. That's not out of the ordinary for something like that to happen. Eternal on Periscope. Clippers haven't proved anything and haven't earned to be in the same conversation as the Lakers. I get it. I understand. But they're still a good team. So they still got to, you're right. They got to earn it. But on paper, again, they're going to come out and be a good team. Now, what that translates to, we'll have to wait and see because, like we said this in the past, chemistry plays a big part. And unless they get that part figured out, I don't know what they're going to do. All right. Let's see what we got here. Gary Rubens on YouTube. Great question. Any future Nugget Nation talk? If Nuggets play the Clippers and Nuggets win, then yes. Then it's Nuggets Nation, and I do a post-game show. You guys know the rules. You guys know how this works. All right? If a team comes back to beat the Clippers down 3-1, I do a post-game show. Okay? Aniket, YouTube, what's the starting lineup? Okay, I've gave my starting lineup before. Dennis Schroeder probably is not going to agree with me, but that's okay. I go Wes Matthews. I go KCP. I go LeBron, Anthony Davis, Marc Gasol. That's my starting lineup. Coming off the bench, give me Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, Alex Caruso, and Markieff. Wait, who did I just say? Alex Caruso, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and Markieff Morris. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anybody. So, there's my starting lineup. What do we got here? JJ Bisnar, will this be the year LeBron slows down? I hope he slows down strategically. Like he literally says, okay, I'm going to pace myself this year because, look, at the end of the day, LeBron James, such an unbelievable player. And he's got so much mileage and so much minutes, and he's done so much in the league, and he's been in the finals 10 times, and he's played in the Olympics, multiple times, and all the playoff runs that he's had. And he's always been by far the best player on his team. So with all that being said, he's walking into his 18th season in the league, not counting all those playoff games. Hopefully, strategically, there is a little bit of a slowdown there. Okay. Somebody wants to go play at Echo Park right now. You don't want to play me right now. Right now, my game is unbelievable right now. I mean, I haven't, to be real, I used to play basketball 2-3 days a week before COVID hit. I haven't played basketball since COVID. I think one time I shot around. One time. What is this? All right, I'm going to take a couple more, and then we're going to get the hell out of here, guys. I think I got people challenging me at Echo Park. Listen, I'll tell you guys right now. I'll take you down the block. A little shimmy, a little fadeaway, all day. All right, a couple more here. Do you think the Lakers really have enough for a third star next year? That's a good point. Team Gone Fly on YouTube. That LeBron and Anthony Davis contract, I had built this thing in my head that LeBron would take. I didn't know LeBron was going to get an extension. Anthony Davis, I thought maybe would match up his contract with LeBron and they go 1+1, right? So next summer they'd come into the offseason and kind of have some buying power here to, talk to free agents and say, look, come play with us. We'll figure it out a way to make it happen financially. So out the gate, no, I don't think they have enough to go get a third star. But the reality is you can shift some contracts. You can make some trades. I mean, would they be able to go out there and go get a superstar? No. If you think Giannis is coming, Giannis ain't coming. But maybe they're able to get a DeMar DeRozan if his goal is to just win a championship and come back to LA and play for his, hometown. Maybe it's something like that. I don't have the answer, so I think it's going to be tough. Let's put it that way. I think it's definitely going to be tough. Okay, let's see what we got here. Spend 418. Is the THT hype real? He's talking about Taylor Horton Tucker. I think we're going to find out this season. I think he's kind of a baller. I think he could play. He walked into that bubble and was okay with just saying, okay, let's try and make it happen here in those minutes that he got against the Houston Rockets. So, look, when you're coming into a year where it's been this quick of a turnaround, you're going to have players that test positive for COVID-19. You're going to have, this schedule, I kept mentioning on 710 ESPN, this schedule that we see here, it's a piece of paper with some ink on it. But the reality is I don't think anybody expects that this is going to go as planned. Guys are going to get opportunities. I mean, who knows? Taylor Horton Tucker may get plenty of opportunities this year. So it'd be fun to watch. Is the hype real? If that's the question, I mean, what kind of hype are we talking about? I think just Laker fans are excited to see somebody who's so young, who's got some potential. I think he's only 20 years old. I think I said 21 a few weeks ago, and I think I was wrong there. All right, let me see here. Oh, this is good. Gavin is saying, I don't want the smoke. Gavin, listen. I will pick and roll your ass all game. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. All right, I got one more here, and then the show's over, okay? One more here. Final one. Isaac Espinoza. What do you think is the worst part of the Lake Show? I'm assuming that you're referring to this season. The toughest part is going to be, I wish we still had a little bit more size. Dwight Howard, I thought, was so unique to have him coming off the bench. That's the one area I wish we had a little bit more size off the bench. Because Montrezl Harrell and Markieff Morris, those are undersized big men who, aren't going to get pushed around. They're going to play big, but they're just literally not that big. Dwight was an absolute beast. So that's the one area that I would say. By the way, real quick, let me throw this out there. James Harden, go to work, bro. This is your job. Go to work. Show up to training camp. I mean, the guy, in my opinion, looks pretty stupid, to be honest with you. Let me just throw that one in there before the show ends. All right, Laker fans, thank you for being a part of the show. We went over. I mean, look, I don't get paid overtime here. Okay, this isn't volunteer work. All right. Now, I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I really do. Thank you for doing this. As you guys know, every Monday night we do this. So Lakers talk from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. right here on 710 ESPN. Go back and listen if you want to hear the Wesley Matthews interview or my interview with Mike Trudell, or really just 2 hours of Lakers basketball conversation. You can go back and listen to the Lakers Talk show on the ESPN app or on iTunes. My next show is Friday, pregame show. Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Clippers. I'll do the pregame show with Michael Thompson. Of course, John Ireland and Michael will call the broadcast, and then I'll do the postgame show. And then today's Monday, which means Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right here on 710 ESPN. Catch all your Lakers coverage. All right, starting with Keyshawn in the morning, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Of course, Travis a part of that show as well. You got Greeny, you got Kellerman, you got Mason and Ireland, LZ and Sedano and LZ, and then, of course, Scott Kaplan as well in the evening. So be a part of the station. Thank you for tuning into the show. Always appreciated. Subscribe on all our platforms. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all our social channels as well. You guys have a good rest of your night. We'll get back on you on Friday.